Good morning. When you go through the lineage from Adam, you'll realize that these superheroes are pretty something else. There's no details on the first ones, but when you get down to Dumuzi, the Shepard, a lot is going on. You see, they lied to us. These people are more than people. They're super people. Tammuz, deity. He will be the fifth king down the line of Adam or Sumerian kings. We're told not to like Tammuz, but he's one of the lineage. Matter of fact, Maleleel, that's who he is. That's what he said he is. That's what he said he is. In Babylon, the month Tammuz was established in honor of the eponymous god Tammuz, who originated in the Sumerian shepherd god Dumuzi, or Dumuzi, the consort of Ina, who was also a deity. In his Akkadian form, the parallel consort of Istar, same person. The Leviathan lord Adonis, who was drawn into the Greek pantheon, was considered by Joseph Campbell, among others, to be another counterpart of Tammuz, son and consort. The Arabic name Tammuz seems to have derived from Akkadian term Dumuzi, based on the Sumerian Dumuz. In later standard Sumerian form, Dumuzid, it became Dumuzi in Akkadian. Dumuzi also is Dumuzi, or it's the same person. See, these are all deities, and you think they're regular people, and you're still stuck on it. Tammuz in the Hebrew Bible. These mourning ceremonies were observed at the door of the Temple of Jerusalem, and a vision of Israelite prophet Ezekiel was given, which serves a biblical prophecy which expresses the Lord's message at his people are prostrate worshiping of idols. Then he brought to me the door of gate in the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat a woman weeping for Tammuz. Then he said unto me, Thou hast seen this, O son of man. Turn thee again, and thou shalt see greater ambitions than these. See, for some reason, they're shitting on the heroes, and that's part of their lineage. And Ezekiel's saying not to worship none of these people. Why? It's a part of the line. As you investigate closer, you'll see that everything that told you not to worship or told you not to do is pretty much good to go. Now there's two Dumuzid, one of Bad Tabira and one of Kara, of the fishermen. And the one that's a fisherman is between Gilgamesh and Lugabandan. That's the reign. Lugabandan is supposed to be Gilgamesh's father. We'll get into that later. Who is Tammuz? The false god Tammuz is mentioned in the book of Ezekiel. The prophet describes a vision he had seen to the Lord. It brought me to the entrance of the north gate of the house of the Lord, and I saw the woman sitting there, the morning god Tammuz. Right. Tammuz, the demigod, apparently began as a Sumerian shepherd named Dumuzi. His father was an ancient Mesopotamian god, Enki, also known in Akkadian Babylon, Ea, who saved the family of Utnapishtim, who's Noah. Well, I have that in the notes. Yes, that's another name of Noah. This is another name. See, when you're great in history, just like any other motherfucker in a street or whatever, usually niggas call you by more than one name, right? If you're nice, niggas call you by more than one name. Well, Noah has a lots of names. And this is that's his name from the flood in the Epic of Gilgamesh. That is his name. And his mother was a sheep goddess, Datura. In the early Sumerian culture, Dumuzi Tammuz was a god of sheep, lambs, sheep's milk, pastoral deity, and Akkadian mythos, and he was a god of agriculture. Tammuz was known as the young one, and his beauty caught the attention of Ina, known to the Canaanites as Istar. So the deity wanted to, have him or marry him or whatnot. The most common story is that Istar traveled to the netherworld to take the throne of his sister Israel. For her hubris, Istar was condemned by the Anunnaki judges of the underworld to be sentenced and killed, and her corpse hung from a nail or a hook. While Ina Istar was dead, sexual relations ceased over the entire universe. Enki allowed her to resurrect, and she found another soul to take her place. She scoured the world looking for someone who wasn't mourning her death. Eventually found her husband, Tammuz, dressed in rich clothing, sitting on a throne. So she was punished. You see, as you click on each of these people's names, as you get further and further in history, these people seem to have amazing talents and abilities, and you're not told of this. Just like they didn't want to tell you in the garden that you had amazing abilities and talents, and it was wrong to tell you about it. Somebody wanted to tell you about it, and somebody didn't. In Greece, Istar Tammuz seemed to have inspired the story of Aphrodite, Adonis. Aphrodite gave infant Adonis to her sister Persephone to protect the underworld. Persephone fell for the beauty of the child as well, and his sister's fault. Zeus finally intervened, declaring Adonis to stay 4 months with Persephone and 4 months with Aphrodite and 4 months wherever he pleased. Sometime later, Adonis was killed by a boar. Zeus honored Aphrodite's mourning by allowing him to remain above the ground half of the year. Wow. And you can read more. See, what they're discussing is the Sumerian kings list. After the kingship descended from heaven, they tell you right there. If dudes would just open up other books and open up their eyes and see that it's not just the New Testament or the Old Testament, the whole thing needs to be scrapped and reread. They're talking about a kingship that descended from heaven. After they constructed Adam, he is of the essence of them. He looks just like them. He's just maybe as tall as them, maybe a little shorter. The kingship descended from heaven. The kingship was in Eridu. In Eridu, Alumna became king and ruled for 28,000 years. Excuse me. These years is ridiculous. Alihard ruled for 36,000 years. 2 kings ruled for 64,000 years. Over. And you're going to sit there. See, they give you small numbers, and those numbers are ridiculous to us reading it as Christians or Hebrews or whatnot. And they're not going to give you the real numbers. They never will. Why? Now, here they are. And these kings ruled for a long time and took turns. Every time a kingdom went down or something bad happened or whatnot, they just changed up shop and went somewhere else. They just went somewhere else. Yerbututu became king. It's supposed to be Lamech, and he ruled for 18,000 years. 1 kingship, yep, and 5 cities, 8 kings. They ruled for over 230,000 years. Then the flood swept over. They're missing one person who was very mysterious, and they don't want to talk about him too much, but it's true. This information is from writings in the ancient state, early Chinese and comparative perspective by Huqing Wang. Well, this Chinaman did his homework on his people. And you need to do yours because mine is right here. The political motive behind this ideology has been argued was to legitimize the rule of the dynasty of Isin, which was unable to trace its entry back to the royal Amorite genealogy from which its rival, the dynasty of Larsa, claimed to be legitimacy. That he wants to claim his lineage from Amorites, Larsa. These are ancient cities. Yeah, I know. When you bring this truth like this, nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it at all. You wants to be quiet, nobody wants to hear it, and you go back to your book, and that's it. Well, that's fine. Well, I'm doing my journal, my homework. You can accept it or not. Right, one out.